have enjoyed this little trailer we have compiled. Now let's start from the beginning.
Good morning everyone. Welcome to Egypt. Yes, that's the thing we normally hear always in Egypt. And after that comes the proposition of selling something to us. But it's okay, we got used to it. Anyway, thank you very much for coming back to experience our visit to the city of Luxor. Without any delay, let me show you the view of Nile from our hotel balcony. But before that, a bit about Luxor.
Situated at the bank of River Nile around 660 kilometers south of Cairo, Luxor was the ancient city of Thebes, the great capital of Upper Egypt during the New Kingdom, and the glorious city of Amun, later to become the god Amun-Ra.
Here we will take you with us to the amazing places like Luxor Temple, Karnak Temple, Valley of Kings and Queens, and many more. So let's begin. Okay, let's see now what we can see from our balcony. Shall we?
And this is our first view of the busy Nile of Luxor. Now comes the vista of the historic mountain of the West Bank as a backdrop. The so-called city of dead of ancient Egypt, where all the famous tombs of the kings and queens exist.
Not bad, right? Now let us take you to the Luxor Temple. And here is the famous Luxor Temple and our first spot in Luxor. Let me show you around the temple area. It's fascinating. Can you believe that this temple is more than 3,400 years old? Oh my God, it's really fascinating. Actually, this temple was converted to a church by Romans in 395 AD and then converted to a mosque in 640 AD.
That makes 3,400 years of continuous religious worship. Hence, the Luxor Temple is the oldest continuously active religious building in the world.
So here we conclude our visit to Luxor Temple. Actually, it's getting very crowded now. So we'll go to our next destination, Karnak Temple.
Karnak Temple is only a couple of kilometers away from the Luxor Temple, so we took a relaxing horse cart ride early in the morning to reach there.
Welcome to Karnak. Yet another wonder of Luxor. It was built around 2000 BC. That means it's more than 4000 years old. When you talk about history work, this is it.
It's believed to be the second most visited historical site in Egypt. Only the Giza Pyramid complex receives more visits.
As we have studied the history of these places, the thrill of visiting these monuments increased manifold.
The key difference between Karnak and most of the other temples and sites in Egypt is the length of time over which it was developed and used. Construction of temples started in the Middle Kingdom around 2000 BC and it continued till 30 BC. I didn't appreciate this statue at all. I get that the pharaohs were big guys, but they shouldn't have put their queens below their knees. No respect for women at all. Very bad. Finally, the sacred lake of Karnak. The lake was used by the priests and was a symbol of the holy waters from which life arose in the ancient Egyptians' idea of creation.
That was the first part of our Karnak Temple visit. We'll be back here in the evening for a beautiful light and sound show. But for now, it's time to visit one of the best preserved temples of Egypt, the Dendera Temple. Let's go!
The Dendera Temple complex is a bit far from Luxor, around 75 kilometers, and it takes close to 2 hours to reach there by car.
This temple complex is massive, around 40,000 meters square, and it was built around 2250 BC by Pharaoh Pepi I. We won't be able to show you each part of this temple, but we'll try to manage the most important parts. Wow, that was an amazing temple, isn't it? The colors of 4000 years old is still visible. This place is not visited by much people, so it's a bit less crowded. Our next destination is Edfu. It's a bit outside, so we are expecting a less crowd there as well. Let's see what happens. So, Edfu, here we come.
Edfu is far, more than 100 kilometers from Luxor, and it takes more than 2 hours to reach there. But it is absolutely worth the effort. Keep watching and you will agree with us.
We are at Edfu now. We'll spend some time here because we'll go for the light and sound here. It's very famous. But before that, have a look at the temple area. The temple of Horus in Edfu was built around 237 BC under the rule of Cleopatra VII. So it's relatively less older than some of the other sites of Egypt. according to myth, the falcon-headed god Horus fought with one of his greatest combats with the god of the underworld Seti here.
The early Christians of Roman Empire chiseled out many beautiful artworks of Egyptian monuments to make them look ugly. Many such examples can be found in Edfu.
During the evening, this temple looks like a magic. We are so excited. Let the show begin.
So this is our last destination of this episode. We kept the best for the last. The great Valley of Kings and Queens, the so-called City of Dead.
At the start, we are welcomed by the Colossi of Memnon, two massive stone statues of Pharaoh Amenhotep III, who ruled Egypt around 1350 BC. Next on the list is the great temple of Hatshepsut. It was built during the reign of Pharaoh Hatshepsut of 18th dynasty around 1507 BC. It's considered to be a masterpiece of ancient architecture. Then comes the spectacular tomb of the Queen Nefertari. Unfortunately, photography with a camera is not allowed inside the tomb and one can stay only for 10 minutes. We could only use the mobile. The interior is absolutely jaw-dropping. Something so old feels like it was painted yesterday. And finally, we reached the Valley of Kings. In fact, you enter and exit through pretty aggressive gift shops desperate to sell you different kinds of stuff. It's very common in many tourist locations of Egypt, but it's alright to just ignore them and casually pass by. We started our visit with the tomb of Ramses III. The artwork inside is spectacular. This tomb is around 3,400 years old. Next, we visited the tomb of Ramses V and VI. This requires an extra ticket, but we had the Luxor pass where everything was included. The interior of this is even more gorgeous. The remains of the sarcophagus can be seen inside. This tomb is around 3200 years old. The second last tomb in our list is the insane tomb of the Seti one. This also requires an additional ticket that was included in our Luxor pass. And photography is only allowed with a mobile phone here. This tomb is massive and goes very deep down underground. At the same time, this is definitely the most beautiful and best preserved tomb of the entire Valley of Kings. The walls and the roofs are full of fine paintings and the colors are so gorgeous.
Our last tomb is the smallest but most talked about tomb of the young pharaoh Tutankhamun. He died at a young age of 19 and his tomb was not finished. So he was buried in a very small tomb. This was one of the very few tombs that was not robbed, and his 110 kg gold sarcophagus can be found in the Cairo Museum. Everybody involved in the digging process of his tomb has died mysteriously, and this is fantasized as the curse of Tutankhamun. This is the only tomb in the Valley of Kings where you can see the actual mummy of King Tut.
So this was our final location of Luxor trip. Hope you have enjoyed this virtual trip to Luxor. If you did so, please give us a thumbs up. It really means a lot to us. If you didn't subscribe us yet, do it quickly. And don't forget to press the bell icon to get the notification of our upcoming videos. Goodbye for now. See you at our next episode of Hot Air Balloon Experience over Luxor. And before the end, let's look at the light and sound of Karnak and Edfu.